Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a conversation about the Intelligence Bureau, about the country's premium intelligence gathering agencies responsible for internal security. And the reason why I'm here today is to tell you about the opportunity, the call of the nation to those who will answer it, about what the Intelligence Bureau is, about how the exam is structured, about what exactly is the vacancy which has been declared, how you can get yourself involved, what type of job is it, and I'll try to tell you whatever I can and what my experience is, and we'll have a conversation about that going ahead. I don't know if you realize the severity and the seriousness of the work that the Intelligence Bureau does. The Intelligence Bureau is one of the world's oldest intelligence agencies. It was formulated, created in 1887 when it was called the Central Special Branch. And it has continued. At that time, it used to have the mandate of external security as well as internal security. Then during the 1960s, our country faced two wars. We faced the war with China, we faced a war with Pakistan, and because of this reason, the Intelligence Bureau's roles were bifurcated. They were bifurcated, and what ended up happening was RAW was formed. The Research and Analysis Wing, RAW, was tasked with external security, and Intelligence Bureau was tasked with internal security and counterintelligence. Now, there is a difference between internal security and counterintelligence, and this is all very serious stuff. This is not child's play. The examination is not child's play. The examination itself is made difficult. The job is challenging. It is not for everybody. And the Intelligence Bureau itself, it's a very serious, no-nonsense organization. And I can tell you by the very, very limited interaction and what I've heard about them, I've never really had the chance to work there or to get to understand the organization, but I can tell you that secrecy is paramount. The entire philosophy of this organization or of any intelligence organization, but particularly for the IB, is that they must always be eternally vigilant. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Always remember this. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Now, what's interesting is this statement here. This is a famous statement. It might just be that this statement comes as an essay in the ACIO exam, but we'll talk about that later. The logo, the official Sanskrit motto of the organization is Jagratam Anirsham. That means always alert. Any type of intelligence work, you see, is about awareness. It's about gathering intelligence on the ground. It is about knowing what is happening. It is about preemptive action. You know what preemptive action is? Preemptive action is when you take action to make sure something disastrous does not happen. That is what the Intelligence Bureau is tasked with doing. And like I mentioned, it is under the Ministry of Home Affairs. It is a no-nonsense intelligence gathering organization, now only focused after 1968 on internal security. What does the ACIO do? And then, of course, the reason that we are talking all about this is because recently the Intelligence Bureau has released vacancies. 995 vacancies very recently have been released at the rank of the ACIO. The ACIO is the Assistant Central Intelligence Officer. Assistant Central Intelligence Officer. Like in the police and like in other organizations, you have a hierarchy. The ACIO is at the rank of an inspector. It's at the rank of the inspector of police. The ACIO, the 995 vacancies that are being chosen this is the cutting edge. This is the cutting edge of the organization. This is where on the ground intelligence is gathered. The ACIO Tier 2 particularly is the level of the officer who is posted on the ground. And these are the people who actually get to collect the information as it happens. And it has to be very vigilant and it is always extremely, extremely secretive. In fact, इतना secretive होता है कि बहुत बारी जो इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो के ऑफिसर्स होते हैं उनकी फैमिलीज को भी नहीं पता होता है कि वो एक्टिवली इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो में दे आर एक्टिव एंड दे आर पार्टिसिपेटिंग एटसेट्रा. The nature of the work, I can't tell you in extreme detail what it is because it's a very secretive organization, but I can tell you the basics of what the work entails. And the basics of what the work entails, one is intelligence. Intelligence gathering is about keeping your eyes and ears open, about monitoring what is happening in public frequencies. अब IB के पास बहुत सारे स्पेशल प्रिविलेजेस भी होते हैं. कुछ ऐसे प्रिविलेजेस होते हैं जिसमें वो वायर टैपिंग कर सकते हैं, कुछ ऐसे प्रिविलेजेस होते हैं जिसमें वो कम्युनिकेशंस देख सकते हैं. और इतनी बड़ी कंट्री में हमारी इतनी बड़ी कंट्री, इतनी डाइवर्स कंट्री में, इट इज़ देयर जॉब टू मेक श्योर कि कोई भी ऐसी कम्युनिकेशन, कोई भी ऐसी डिस्कशन या कोई भी ऐसी थ्रेट नेशनल सिक्योरिटी को, इंटरनल पीस को डिस्टर्ब करने वाली चीज़ डिटेक्ट हो जाए बिफोर एनीथिंग बैड हैपन्स. दिस इज इंटेलिजेंस गैदरिंग. द सेकेंड थिंग दे डू विच इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट is counterintelligence. Counterintelligence is different. It is not intelligence gathering necessarily. Counterintelligence होता है. अब again, you'll have to appreciate this fact. If you are really appearing really serious for this stuff, then you'll need to understand that other intelligence agencies are also doing the same work. Counterintelligence means हम उनके efforts को कैसे thwart करते हैं. I don't know if you are aware, but there was this very famous movie about the Pokhran tests. India did the nuclear tests. और उस वक्त ऑब्वियसली जो ग्लोबल सिचुएशन थी, जो जियो स्ट्रेटेजिक सिचुएशन थी, इंडिया वॉज नॉट वेलकम इन टू दैट क्लब. इंडिया वॉज न्यूली इंडिपेंडेंट डेवलपिंग कंट्री एंड नोबडी वांटेड इंडिया टू हैव एनी न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स व्हाटसोएवर. बट द रिजॉल्व वॉज देयर, द इंटेंशन वॉज देयर. काउंटर इंटेलिजेंस का जो एलिमेंट था उसमें वो ये था कि जो भी एफर्ट्स हैं वो इन्फॉर्मेशन लीक ना हो, ताकि वो पोखरण टेस्ट प्रिवेंट करे जाए, इंडिया को रोका जाए. उसमें उनको काउंटर इंटेलिजेंस के थ्रू वो इन्फॉर्मेशन ना आ जाए. इट इज़ अल्टीमेटली अनदर वर्ड फॉर सीक्रेसी. बट दिस सीक्रेसी इज मोर इंटेंशनल, मोर डायरेक्टेड, मोर पिन पॉइंटेड टूवर्ड्स सर्टन टास्क्स. सो दैट इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ द जॉब दैट द ऑफिसर्स इन द इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो डू. इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी, अब अगेन लाइक आई सेड, इन अ कंट्री लाइक आवर्स विच इज सो डाइवर्स, वेरियस थ्रेट्स टू इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी एग्जिस्ट. कुछ तो कम्युनल फोर्सेज हैं जो पोटेंशियली थ्रेट बन सकते हैं कुछ एरियाज़ में, कुछ नक्सल अफेक्टेड एरियाज़ हैं जो बन सकते हैं, कुछ बॉर्डर एरियाज़ हैं, कुछ सेपरेटिज्म है, कुछ रीजनलिज्म है. अब ये डिफरेंट सिचुएशंस डिफरेंट तरीक़ों से इट कीप्स ऑन अराइजिंग, एंड द इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो इज टास्क्ड टू मेक श्योर दैट देयर इज नो थ्रेट टू द नेशन, that there is no threat to the internal security of the nation. Exactly everything that I just mentioned comes under their ambit. This is that type of job. This is the job where you become the eyes and ears of the intelligence agencies on the ground. This is the fundamental job of the ACIO. ACIO ये करते हैं. They are the eyes and ears. They collect the intelligence, they relay it, they assess it, and they are the ones जिनके पास information सबसे पहले आती है, जो उसको assess करके उसको mark करते हैं and it gets flagged as something important. Another thing worth telling you is if you get selected on this, if you do get through it, the chances are high that you will be posted in border areas. You will be posted in border areas or areas which have a lot of conflict, or perhaps where the threat to internal security is the maximum. That's a very high chance. There are low chances that after your selection you get posted in a metro area or in a area which has a desk job. That doesn't normally happen, but there is of course posting, and postings ये जो है rotate होती हैं like in anything. And like I mentioned, the paramount factor in your job, if you get into this, will always be secrecy. Secrecy maintain करना is not easy, also because secrecy is basically just another word for integrity. और बहुत ज़्यादा high integrity इसके लिए चाहिए. बहुत इंटेग्रिटी चाहिए, बहुत विजिलेंस चाहिए, बहुत कंट्रोल चाहिए, बहुत सेल्फ डिसिप्लिन चाहिए, और बहुत एक अलर्ट माइंड चाहिए जो हमेशा अलर्ट ही हो. वही लोग इसके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा सूटेड हैं. एंड इफ़ यू हैव दैट नैक, अगर आपको इन चीज़ों में ऑलरेडी इंटरेस्ट है, मज़ा आता है, दिस माइट बी अ ग्रेट जॉब फॉर यू. माइट बी, इट्स नॉट फॉर एवरीबडी, बट डेफिनेटली कुड बी फॉर यू. बट अगेन, दैट्स समथिंग दैट यू नीड टू फिगर आउट. The hierarchy of this organization works like the hierarchy of various other police organizations. The top ranks, for instance, the joint deputy director, the assistant director, these are mostly IPS officers. What you will be doing is starting from here. This is the entry level position. This is where intelligence gathering happens on the ground. This is the assistant central intelligence officer tier 2. If you clear this exam, this is the pay scale you get. You get pay scale 7 Pay scale 7, the base pay for that is 44,900, but that doesn't matter when you actually get your pay in the government. There's a lot of other allowances which get added up. वो सब add होके आपको मिलती हैं, तो this will be your base pay and it is substantial. You'll get the rank of inspector. And now the exam itself. What do you need to do if you want to get this exam? The exam is in 2 layers. ठीक है, 2 layers हैं. एक layer है tier 1, एक layer है tier 2. जो tier 1 है, that is simple enough. It is like prelims of UPSC. Multiple choice questions होंगे, जनरल स्टडीज़ के क्वेश्चन होंगे, करंट अफेयर्स के क्वेश्चन होंगे. हो सकता है उन क्वेश्चन में सिक्योरिटी का एलिमेंट ज़्यादा हो और आपको उसकी अच्छी अवेयरनेस होनी चाहिए कि आजकल क्या क्या चल रहा है उस एरिया में. यू शुड नो. काफ़ी हद तक फैक्चुअल, बट क्वेश्चंस का जो लेवल है वो ईजी नहीं है. इनफैक्ट एक ज़रूरी चीज़, एक ज़रूरी कंपैरिजन, हम नॉर्मली एसएससी सीजीएल के साथ कंपेयर करते थे इस एग्ज़ाम को. यह है नहीं ऐसा एक्चुअली. इसका हायर है लेवल, और हायर लेवल होगा ही बिकॉज इट इज़ इंटेलिजेंस ब्यूरो. इट इज़ नॉट अ जोक, लाइक आई सेड. एक हायर लेवल का इंटेलिजेंस ही चाहिए इसमें कोई भी इंसान अगर जाके काम कर रहा है तो इट इज़ नॉट अ नॉर्मल लेवल ऑफ इंटेलिजेंस रिक्वायर्ड. नॉर्मल से बहुत हाई इंटेलिजेंस वाली ज़रूरत है. उस हिसाब से इनका क्वेश्चन पेपर बहुत क्लियरली उस चीज़ को रिफ्लेक्ट करता है. यू विल बी एबल टू टेल कि ये एसएससी सीजीएल नहीं, मोर टुवर्ड्स यूपीएससी डिफिकल्टी लेवल का है ये. द पैटर्न ऑफ द एग्जाम, you will get 20 questions from current affairs, 20 from general studies, 20 from numerical aptitude, reasoning, English. This is typical IQ testing, I think. कोई भी typical IQ test हो तो ये elements आपको उसमें मिलेंगे. कुछ भी छोड़ा नहीं गया है. It contains the elements of CSAT in English. It contains the elements of everything. But एक important चीज़ English के बारे में. English fundamental है इस जॉब के लिए भी, इस एग्ज़ाम के लिए भी. इंग्लिश के बिना इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल. आप इंटेलिजेंस गैदरिंग अपने चॉइस ऑफ लैंग्वेज में नहीं कर सकते. जिस लैंग्वेज में इंटेलिजेंस आ रही है, जिस लैंग्वेज में आपको एनालिसिस करना है, उसी लैंग्वेज में आपको समझ में आना चाहिए. इट इज़ द लैंग्वेज दैट यू विल हैव टू बी कंफर्टेबल विद, बिकॉज उसी इंटेलिजेंस के साथ यू विल बी अंडरस्टैंडिंग थिंग्स एंड यू नीड टू हैव अ वेरी गुड कमांड. यू विल फाइंड दैट एम्फेसिस इन टियर 1, you will find the same emphasis in tier 2. Interestingly, this tier 2, this is like the mains of state PCS, it is like the mains of the UPSC. बाद में होगा, जो लोग टियर 1 को क्वालिफाई कर लेंगे उनको टियर 2 में यू विल बी गिवन अ चांस टू अपेयर इन दिस एग्जाम. इट इज़ ऑल इंग्लिश. टियर 2 इज़ फुल्ली इंग्लिश और कुछ नहीं है इसमें. द एंटायर इंग्लिश एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट दे कवर इन essay एंड दे विल मेक श्योर दैट इंग्लिश कॉम्प्रिहेंशन, प्रेसी राइटिंग इज ऑल्सो इंक्लूडेड. अब अगेन कोई सरप्राइज नहीं है, सोच समझ के डिजाइंड है सारी की सारी. वाई इज प्रेसी राइटिंग देयर फॉर एग्जाम्पल? वाई? दे डोंट वॉन्ट टू मेक यू इन टू अ टाइपिस्ट. दे वॉन्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर इतनी लंबी चौड़ी कम्युनिकेशन है, क्या आप उसको समराइज़ कर सकते हो 50 वर्ड में, 100 वर्ड में, 200 वर्ड में? इतना समराइज़ कर सकते हो कि ऑल द रेलिवेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन इज टेकन इन. उसमें जो अनस्पोकन चीज़ें हैं, जो पोटेंशियल थ्रेट है, क्या वो हाईलाइट हो सकता है आपकी बातों में बिना उस मैसेज को डिस्टॉर्ट करे? कैन यू मैनिपुलेट लैंग्वेज इनफ टू कंप्लीटली एक्सट्रैक्ट द मीनिंग ऑफ इट और दैट विच इज़ रेलिवेंट विदाउट इम्पोजिंग योर ओन अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑन इट? यही होती है प्रेसी राइटिंग इनफैक्ट. बट प्रेसी राइटिंग का नॉर्मल लेवल ही अच्छा लेवल चाहिए होगा. This is not, they're not testing you just for English, they're testing for the proficiency of English. That is why it is not just qualifying, इसके अच्छे खासे weightage है. They, again, like I mentioned, when they ask you essays में भी इनका the motivation and the angle is twofold. 2 चीज़ें ट्राई करना चाहेंगे वो. And I'll show you कुछ ऐसे के जो टॉपिक्स हैं. क्लियरली पता चलता है कि एक इंटेलिजेंस एजेंसी, एक सिक्योरिटी एजेंसी की हायरिंग के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से वो बनाए गए हैं. सिक्योरिटी बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस होंगे ऐसे में. अगेन दे आर टेस्टिंग नॉट ओनली योर नॉलेज ऑफ सिक्योरिटी इशूज, दे आर टेस्टिंग द वे यू प्रेजेंट इट, दे आर टेस्टिंग हाउ यू थिंक अबाउट इट, दे आर टेस्टिंग डू यू हैव सोल्यूशंस फॉर इट, दे आर टेस्टिंग इफ यू अप्रिशिएट ऑल द डायमेंशंस ऑफ इट. दे आर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड आउट कि इज दिस कैंडिडेट genuinely suited to becoming an intelligence officer or not. It's a brutally, ruthlessly filtering type of process, and that is why the entire onus, सारा का सारा onus English पे है यहाँ पे पूरे के पूरे tier 2 में. This is what I'll be helping with. This is what I can help with actually. Then there is the interview. No surprises there. Interview में भी I should be able to help you. I really hope that I'll be able to help you to some extent at least in the interview. I'm talking about tier 1 exams. Tier 1 में we don't need to spend too much time. I'd like to rather go on to the more tricky aspects of this exam. Tier 1 में you can expect one-liner questions, statement based, match the following type questions. This is the type of question that you can expect, just to make you familiar. I don't think आपके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा surprising होगा in any case. It's a question about the Comptroller Auditor General, the CAG, and it is basic polity. Basic polity यहाँ पर इस stage पे it is being tested. Do you understand the government system? Do you understand the basics of where you are serving? Basic state PCS, UPSC level polity, geography, history will have to be known and understood. All right, the format doesn't matter. उस basic information से काम हो जाएगा. This is the interesting stuff. These are a few previous year questions from essay from tier 2 descriptive. Notice the type of questions they ask. Write an essay in English language, they say 400 word का essay है. Social media, a boon or a bane for security agencies. Social media, a boon or a bane for security agencies. अब आप जो लिखोगे इसमें बहुत कुछ पता चल जाएगा कि आप कितने कैलिबर के हो as far as an intelligence officer. Can you think in that point of view? Can you correlate the security agencies, the social media aspect of things जो इसका influence है इतना ज़्यादा with security? What exactly do you think are the security challenges when it comes to social media? Social media, is it a boon or a bane? Actually, obviously it is both. But how is it both? If it is a bane, अगर social media स्टूडेंट्स को, ऑफिसर्स को और लोगों को एक बेनिफिट देती है, तो व्हाट इज द डाउन साइड ऑफ इट? कम्युनिकेशन कैन बी सीमलेस, कम्युनिकेशन कैन बी मैनिपुलेटेड फॉर अनडेमोक्रेटिक पर्पसेस. वेदर इट वॉज प्रूव्ड और नॉट इज अ डिफरेंट इशू, बट दिस एस्पेक्ट वुड हैव टू बी अप्रिशिएटेड. क्या आपको पता है कैम्ब्रिज एनालिटिका के बारे में? क्या आपको पता है फेसबुक का जो प्रोब हुआ था अबाउट व्हेन ट्रम्प वॉज इलेक्टेड? वॉज देयर एनी ट्रूथ इन दैट और नॉट? वॉज देयर रशियन इन्वॉल्वमेंट देयर और नॉट? ये सब एस्पेक्ट पता होने चाहिए आपको. अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट इज सोशल मीडिया अ boon. How can it be a boon? Well, of course it can be a boon because सब कुछ, everything is being collected in one place. If you are a security analyst, if you are an intelligence officer, where do you think you will go to find out what is the public mood? Where do you think you will go if you want to understand what is the public perception on a topic? You go onto social media, right? That is where people share stuff. That is where you get to realize कि हो क्या रहा है. What is the sentiment on the ground? It may not be completely accurate, but you need to know this. This appreciation, this is the type of stuff you need to write in this essay. Do you agree that the next world war will be fought over water unless we change the way we manage it? Justify your contention. There is no honor in honor killing. Discuss in the context of Indian society. Growth with equity is good news for national security. Why do they ask this question? What is the agenda? What do they get? What are they trying to test? Growth with equity. Have you discussed? Have you thought about this stuff? When you talk about social media, do you think about artificial intelligence? When you think about equity, do you think that ये जो इकोनॉमिक डिबेट है जो हम इकोनॉमिक्स में पढ़ते हैं, सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, डेमोक्रेसी, इक्विटेबल ग्रोथ and all these other justice oriented, liberty oriented, humanitarian values that are mentioned in the constitution, what is the security angle of it? What happens? What exactly happens when society becomes bifurcated into two sets of people which are haves and have nots? What happens is that resentment grows. As resentment grows, people become frustrated. As they become frustrated, they become aggressive. As they become aggressive, they may become violent. If they become violent, there may be a threat to everyone. If you add into that philosophical underpinnings, some philosophies which add to it, what you get is violent nationalism. What you get is violent separatism. This is the danger of equity. If inequality grows too large, it ultimately becomes a civil war type situation. It has happened in other countries. It may happen. It may happen. It is your job as an intelligence officer to make sure that it doesn't happen, and you can't really stop it unless you understand it. Clearly it is being asked here. तो आपके जो राइटिंग के स्किल्स है वो तो पता चल ही जाएंगे, बट आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग कितनी है वो भी बहुत क्लियरली इसमें बाहर निकल के आ जाएगी. What 7 decades of freedom have taught us? What have 7 decades of freedom have taught us? Again, you're appearing in the IB exam. You should be writing that 7 decades of freedom have not been easily entertained. They have not been easily obtained. That there is a price to be paid. You should write that quotation that I had mentioned in the first slide, right here. You should write this. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. We did set up a constitution and we did set up liberty as a fundamental value. But did that come freely or did it have to be enforced? How many times was it at risk of being taken away? And there have been times in our country when it has been taken away. It has been taken away entirely in 1975 during the emergency periods. There have been other times when we've all felt afraid to go out into the public. That is not a situation of liberty. That is what you need to appreciate when you talk about things like this. Again, there is the emphasis on technology. इस पेपर की प्रिपरेशन के लिए एक अच्छी खासी डिस्कशन आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस पे चाहिए, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं उसका एक एंगल आएगा ही आएगा. अभी का सबसे बड़ा थ्रेट भी है वो, वेदर यू टॉक अबाउट क्रिप्टो करेंसीज और यू टॉक अबाउट AI और यू टॉक अबाउट वॉट एवर, और यू मे इवन टॉक अबाउट ड्रोन वॉरफेयर, आई डोंट नो, डिपेंड्स. बट ये पूरी की पूरी टेक्नोलॉजी की एस्पेक्ट जो है, द एंटायर सिक्योरिटी गेम, द एंटायर काउंटर इंटेलिजेंस गेम इज एंटायरली टेक्नोलॉजिकल नाउ. इट्स ऑल डिजिटल. दैट एक ज़माना होता था जब एक्चुअली में फिजिकली क्लोक एंड डैगर टाइप सिचुएशन होती थी एंड पीपल वुड एक्चुअली गो आउट इनटू द फील्ड एंड डू स्टफ, steal documents. You don't steal documents anymore. You hack computers. And you not only hack computers, you prevent yours from being hacked. Can you do that? Can you appreciate how it's done? That type of stuff we'll talk about. Cyber attacks, a great topic that they will ask sooner or later, definitely they will ask it. Now, what can I do? I am part of Textbook. I teach essay, ethics, answer writing in Textbook in one of the major courses. I'm also the chief mentor here. What I do really at Textbook is I bring psychology and education together. This is what I constantly do as a mentor. What I do as a teacher, as an educator, is essay is my specialty and also answer writing. So my skills and my knowledge is perfectly applicable for this descriptive type 2, descriptive tier 2, which is about essay, answer, comprehension and preci. I will also be helping, I will also be contributing in interview. In the interview stage, and obviously when you reach the interview stage, तो वहाँ पर जो कॉन्वर्सेशन होनी चाहिए, पर्सनैलिटी होनी चाहिए, ओरिएंटेशन होनी चाहिए, वो एक सिक्योरिटी ऑफिसर की होनी चाहिए. वो उसी टाइप की चीज़ें आपसे पूछेंगे और उसी टाइप के क्वेश्चंस की हम प्रिपरेशन करेंगे. माई कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन इन दिस सुपर कोचिंग विल बी essay. I will teach you. Yes, and I will teach you that entire descriptive exam, you can say, will be under my guidance and under my directorship. And I'll make sure that if you reach that stage, you know what you're doing. Not only the content, but the way you write it. I have had a lot of experience in UPSC. It's very easy for me to bring it into this exam. And I don't think if you prepared for UPSC and if I've helped so many people crack that exam, this should be a big challenge for me. In fact, I look forward to it. इस बहाने मुझे भी बहुत चीज़ें सीखने को मिलेंगी, and I'm looking forward to teaching this stuff anyway. What else happens in the super coaching? I don't need to tell you because it's a big program. What you can do is you can check out the brochure in the comments. They've added a brochure. You can go into the comments, you can download it, you can read what all features it has, what all features it doesn't have, etc. What you will find in the course is current affairs are covered. I'm talking about live classes here. These are all covered live. Current affairs, numerical aptitude, reasoning, all this will be taught to you. All this will be taught to you by these professional educators. I am one of them here. I will be doing descriptive. I'll teach it and I'll guide you on it, and we'll also have some live interactions to get your orientation, and of course the essay. Of course the interview. It also includes a test series, a very robust test series. I think more applicable to tier 1 because in tier 2, I will be designing your essay test series in any case. I will design it according to the requirements of this exam. In tier 1, you will have, don't need to tell you again, you will find it all in the brochure. You can go and download it. That textbook is traditionally and always, primarily, their expertise and their impact, their punch is in testing. And their tests are supreme and superior. You will find that all of that is included already. There will also be All India live tests, and I wonder what type of bonuses or other incentives it contains, but there will be something, I'm sure. I've already mentioned to you what my role will be, very honestly, very candidly. I'll be doing essay, I will also be doing your descriptive. I won't be teaching you comprehension because I think you'll learn it, but it'll be under my directorship and my overall guidance. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what I wanted to tell you. That is the exam. This is what you are in for. If you want a security related job, if you can hold on to secrecy, if you like this cloak and dagger stuff, if you think you have the aptitude for it, might be a good job to have. Might be. Not for everybody, but if you are there, I have told you how I can help. I'll be taking those areas that I mentioned. I hope you found this discussion helpful. I hope it's given you some perspective of the exam. I don't know if everybody should try it, but whatever it is, it's as simply and plainly as I could have put it. I've mentioned it to you. Thank you very much. Please find the brochure and the details in the description. Ask any questions you have to the counselors and somebody will help you out. Thank you very much.